afternoon. This is KTN Newsdesk, a half-hour show that brings you up to date with what is happening in and around your world. Let's not waste any time. The show begins right now. I'm Edith Kimani. Let's begin with our developing story this afternoon, and a post-mortem examination on the late Mutula Kilonzo will be conducted this afternoon following the arrival of the family pathologist from the United Kingdom. Now, the pathologist jetted into the country early this morning and thereafter headed to the Ministry of Health, where he got clearance to perform the examination. He will work with the other pathologists, including government pathologist Johansen Odwor, to ascertain the cause of death. The post-mortem examination was meant to have been conducted yesterday, but that was pushed to today to allow for the foreign pathologist to arrive. Now, it will be conducted at the Lee Funeral Home, and Mutula, remember, was found dead at his Manzoni ranch on Saturday. The late Mutula will be laid to rest next week, even though the family is yet to confirm the exact date of the burial. Well, our reporter Angel Katusia joins us now on phone from the Lee Funeral Home with the very latest. Angel, I know we discussed earlier, and there are actually plans regarding the funeral.
Edith, if I may just take you back since this morning, what has happened. Dr. Ian Calder, a foreign pathologist, is said to have arrived in the country around 6:20 this morning. He is then said to have headed to the Department of Medical Practitioners and the Ministry of Health, where he was awarded a temporary certificate to be able to do the examination. Around 12 p.m. this afternoon, he then arrived here accompanied by Machakos Senator Johnson Muthama and Machakos Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua. That was around 12 p.m. He then had a small meeting with the family doctor, Dr. Luke Musau, and the government lead pathologist, Dr. Johansen Odwor, who is also leading the government side of the investigation in this case.
All right, Angel, there are quite a few people who are going to be present during the post-mortem examination. Could you please take us through the list?
Of course, there will be the government representatives and the family representatives. They're told the family is going to be represented by the family doctor and son to late Mutula Kilonzo Mutula Jr., and also family members who will not be informed exactly who they are, but we've seen them arrive. But we've been told a number of family members, doctors from the Machakos Provincial Hospital, are also here to oversee the examination.
Okay, Angel, finally, when do they expect to have released the results? And going back to my earlier question of how far funeral arrangements have gotten.
According to Machakos Senator Johnson Muthama, he says they have set Thursday as the burial date. That is not going to change no matter the outcome of the results. We don't know exactly when the results are going to be out, but we've been told the exercise of post-mortem is going to take around 1 hour, 30 minutes to 2 hours, and after that we will be able to be briefed whether we're going to be given the results of the examinations or we'll have to wait a little bit later to get the results.
All right, thank you very much, Angel Katusia. She is coming to us from the Lee Funeral Home, where she's just brought us up to date on what's happening with regard to the post-mortem of the late Mutula Kilonzo. Elsewhere, the International Criminal Court President has appointed a judge to replace Judge Christine van den Weingart, who pulled out of the case against President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto. The ICC President appointed Judge Robert Fremer into the three-judge bench. Judge Fremer will now join the trial chamber. 5 judges, that's Kuniko Ozaki and Chile Eboe Osuji, in hearing the Kenyan cases at the ICC. The trial date for Deputy President William Ruto is set for the 28th of May, while President Uhuru Kenyatta's trial begins on 9th July. Nonetheless, the two are pushing for a postponement of the trial dates, with Ruto saying his trial should be pushed to November for his defense team to be ready. And in a statement, the ICC president said Judge Weingart was excused from trial chamber 5 due to the judge's expected workload, as she was hearing 5 other cases, including those of Libya's Cote d'Ivoire and Democratic Republic of the Congo. Narcotic drugs and other contraband substances of an estimated value of 2.5 million Kenya shillings were seized at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport over the past 2 years and were destroyed yesterday. The destruction was supervised by Kibera Court's acting chief magistrate Daniel Mudanyi and was conducted at Taj Center in Embakasi area. Now also in attendance was Senior Assistant Police Commissioner at the Airport Unit Joseph Ngisia, who was also responsible for the security of the drugs that included cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, hashish and bhang, and among others. Bungoma Governor Kenneth Lusaka is under fire over the composition of his nominees to the County Executive Committee. Lusaka has been accused of failing to observe regional and age balance while nominating his 10 choices to the Bungoma cabinet. Asha Mwilu has the details.
Amid pressure from various quarters, Bungoma Governor Ken Lusaka named his 10-member county cabinet. However, lamentation from different groups followed his nomination. Bungoma Youth and the Disabled have raised concerns over the composition of Lusaka's cabinet, but the biggest concern raised was to do with the regional and ethnic balancing of Lusaka's nominees. Out of the 10, 9 are said to hail from one community.
If you don't perform, you can also be sacked by the so they are coming in the office knowing that the governor has powers to hire and fire. So they must also perform.
The groups are lobbying the county assembly to reject Lusaka's nominees. They have also threatened to take legal action if the names are approved. But Lusaka is not the only governor facing this predicament. While the constitution requires that public appointments uphold regional and gender balance, governors argue that the task is far-fetched. In Machakos County, for instance, all the county executives hail from one community. The same applies to the less cosmopolitan counties such as Kilifi, Turkana and Marsabit. Asha Mwilu, KTN Newsdesk.
Let's now take you to Gilgil, where tensions ran high at the Gilgil CDF elections when voters nearly came to blows in an exercise which was marred by confusion at Gema grounds in Gilgil. Now, despite a court order issued by the Nakuru court for a temporary injunction stopping CDF elections in 5 wards in Gilgil constituency, the court order stated that a temporary injunction was issued stopping the elections as called by Member of Parliament Madenge Nderito until the hearing and determination of the application. Resident Magistrate Ochada had certified as urgent an application by Moses Gitonga from Good Governance who sought to stop the exercise. Madenge, however, denied any knowledge of the court order, saying that he had not been served, though admitting that the exercise faced challenges as CDF elections were not funded and had been forced to use his own funds. Members of Parliament yesterday went to condole with the family of Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Joyce Laboso, who lost her mother last week. Now, Joyce Laboso's mother, that's Rebecca Laboso, a prominent farmer and former councillor, died while undergoing treatment at a Nairobi hospital. The Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, led other members of Parliament and former MPs in paying their respects at the Laboso family home in Nairobi. The burial arrangements for the late Rebecca Laboso are underway. The Kenya Wildlife Service has set aside more than 200 million Kenya shillings for rehabilitation of roads within national parks countrywide to mitigate the effects of the ongoing rains within the main parks. Now, speaking in Nakuru, Director of KWS, William Kibet Kiprono, said some parks have been rendered inaccessible because of the rains, and what they're doing is hindering the movement of visitors and also foreign tourists within the national parks, especially Lake Nakuru National Park. The director was on a tour and assessment of the Lake Nakuru National Park, accompanied by Nakuru Governor Kenneth Mbugua. Currently, water levels at the lake have risen from 35 square kilometers to 45 square kilometers. It's the first time in the past 60 years that the level has actually increased to such a magnitude at Lake Nakuru National Park.
And of course, man, and that's why you see the director himself has come out with a team, a powerful team which is out. Others are also in the other areas like the Savos. We have a team going to the northern Kenya. We are all over the country, and we are trying to ensure that there is smooth operation of our activities within the various national parks. Facing the roads to other areas, like now what we want to do, the peripheral areas, the higher places. Unless Nakuru sinks, unless you are telling us like Nakuru is going to, the whole town is going to sink. But definitely we are going to be there on the ground, and we are ready. Yeah, there's and I brought the man in charge of infrastructure here. The KDP, we have set out some funds. The way I told you, for Nakuru, I think we have for the roads about 70 million. Yeah, 70 million for thereabout, and then of course for the other buildings about 30 million, another 30 million.
Let's have a look at the business where Samsung Africa has graduated 200 technical engineers from its first Samsung Electronics Engineering Academy class in Kenya. Now, the engineers are part of the electronics firm's goal to develop over 10,000 electronic engineers in Africa, and that's by the year 2015. Developed at a cost of more than 84 million shillings, the Samsung Electronic Engineering Academy was launched a year ago in Kenya as part of Samsung Hope for Children program. Its students are drawn from local technical training colleges such as the Multimedia University College, Kabete Technical Training Institute, PC Kenyanjui Technical Training Institute, Nairobi Technical Training Institute, and Technical University of Kenya. The academies, which have also been rolled out in South Africa and Nigeria, play a critical role in developing the technical skills needed to support Samsung's Built for Africa market development strategy. Now, the students underwent a one-year fully sponsored training program to supplement the theoretical training received at their respective colleges. Consumer goods firm Unilever has entered the water business with the launch of Purifier as it counts on product diversification to boost sales in the increasingly competitive Kenyan market. The home water purifier dubbed Purit, which requires no gas or electricity, was initially launched in India, and that was in 2008, but then it was later rolled out in Brazil, Mexico, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Nigeria. The purifier will retail at 10,000 shillings, and Unilever will use the product to capture the rising number of Kenyans who drink bottled water or use purifiers to disinfect their water.
Nothing will, and there they go. A round of applause, please. A great partnership indeed. We look forward to receiving these products. Thank you very much. Now, before you both leave.
Let's have a look at the sports, and we begin with swimming, where the Kenyan swimming team, which won 80 medals at the just concluded Kana Zone 3 and 4 championships in Zambia, arrived back home this morning with their glittering medals. The Kenyan team clinched both the boys and girls team trophies, and in total clinched 80 medals. Their medal harvest is one of the biggest yet by a swimming team. Kenya competed alongside other 11 nations, including South Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, Botswana, Madagascar, Malawi, Namibia, Rwanda, Zambia, Mozambique and Zimbabwe. Kenya's performance this year marked an improvement from last year's 14 gold, 23 silver and 16 bronze medals.
National anthem of Kenya has been played outside your country when you're winning a gold medal. It's a really prestigious feeling, and it's a stepping stone to other competitions.
Everyone pushed all their efforts as individuals, so when we put that together as a team, we all did very well.
Let's take you back to some main news stories where row has erupted over the allocation of 500 hectares of land in Turkana County, pitting a private investor in the oil-rich region against Turkana leaders who have threatened to throw the private investor out. Residents claim there was no wide consultation among the leaders and Turkana County Council during the allocation of what they termed as community land to the private company, and what they want is a process reviewed afresh with proper structures put in place. The private investor, however, says they had backing from some leaders who claim the council used proper channels to hand over the land to the investor. However, community members have vowed to resist any occupation of the land on grounds that the land is theirs and that it had only been entrusted to the Turkana County Council.
We did the announcements in form of tangazo to the chief's offices, in churches. Like yesterday there was announcements in churches, but they are complaining that some of them did not get the information.
Uchaguzi watu hawakuja hapa. Baruku wote. Na tuna watu kama 1000 ngapi? Tuna watu kama 1000 ngapi? Kama 2003. Sasa hawa wako nyumbani hata hawajafika hapa sababu waliambiwa jana hawajui chochote.
The judiciary has moved to establish a special court that will deal with international crime and transnational crimes. Chief Justice Willy Mutunga says the court will not take over the Kenyan case at The Hague, but was aimed at domesticating the International Crimes Act, which was passed in 2008, as well as comply with Article 2 of the Constitution, which obligates the government to honor international law that have been ratified. At the same time, the Chief Justice said Kenya taxpayers should brace for higher taxes to fund the court and make it a reality.
We also wish to state up front that nothing about these updates has to do with the ICC cases of the 3 Kenyans now pending at The Hague. The eventual establishment of the division is not in any way whatsoever intended to take over those cases. Now, to address the issue and for purposes of domesticating the Rome Statute, to which Kenya is a state party, in 2008, you know, we passed the International Crimes Act 2008, and the act defines what an international crime is. You also know that under Article 2 of the Constitution of Kenya, provisions are made for the application of international law in Kenya. Besides, our country, as you all know, has been facing great challenges from transnational crimes such as money laundering, cyber crimes, human trafficking, terrorism, piracy, drug trafficking, trafficking in arms, and illegal trading in wildlife products.
This is prospective. It is about the cases we will deal with domestically. It has nothing, and that has been repeated very, very, very many times. It has nothing to do with any cases that are pending in any other jurisdiction. It is our own demonstration that going forward, Kenya intends to have the mechanism to deal with a problem of that nature should it ever arise again.
All right, we sadly are not able to bring you our world in pictures today, but I will convert one of them into the did you know fact of the day. I hope you can follow. Okay, so there is a study, did you know, that there is a study from the evolution of human behavior that says men are their most attractive with a 10-day stubble rather than being clean-shaven or fully bearded. Apparently, the researchers had about 350 women and also 177 heterosexual men rate 10 men on their masculinity, parenting skills, health, and just, general overall attractiveness. And this is what they said, that anyone who is clean-shaven, least attractive. If you have a light stubble, maybe 5-day, you're looking all nice and scruffy, then you're okay. And if you have a 10-day or a heavy stubble, then you're the most attractive. They, however, said that they don't like men who have a full beard. There you go. So next time you think of shaving, just think of this study and say, hey, I can go on with it for about 10 days. My name is Edith Kimani. Thank you for joining us on KTN Newsdesk. We hope to see you tomorrow. Remember, you can read and watch all of the stories that we have been airing today on www.standardmedia.co.ke. Good afternoon.